Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the group of 5.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the group of 5 programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this, but you guys are on the forefront of this. And
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the group of 5 because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the world's greatest group of 5 college football podcast, reporting live from the mighty Hudson River on the U.S. Military Academy, West Point, New York. I got to tell you, Jeff, I don't know what everybody was talking about. Not that cold.
I mean, we're bundled. We got 3 pairs of pants on, 3 shirts, a sweater. 30 degrees right now.
30 degrees. I'll tell you, I mean, we're directly in the sun.
Not bad.
It's pretty nice until that wind picks up. When that wind picks up, I mean, guys, we may have camera might go down, mics might go flying everywhere. We might have to adjust on the fly. It gets a little cold then, but I mean, I got to tell you, we've been doing this a couple of years. This might be the best view we've had so far, I think.
Without question. And we did have, as we were setting up, we lost 1 camera already. Luckily, I brought the backup.
Yeah.
Gale force winds feels like out here at times.
Yeah.
But, man, we got a great day for some football. Tim Pernetti tweeted out this morning, it's football weather.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And we got clearance. We actually got some clearance from the military police over here. We're out here making our rounds, checking out the place. This campus is, you could just tell it's historic.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you look where we are right now. This is when that asshole Benedict Arnold was trying to give away West Point to the Brits. I mean, we're here. We're standing on history, Jeff.
It's honestly incredible, and it's very humbling. We went to the museum, checked that out, got to check out a bunch of the, exhibits that they had. And, I don't think you really have a true appreciation until you get to see a place like this. All the buildings are old. The stone is old. And just all the different time periods in the museum. It was super educational. It was awesome. And it just reminds us what this country has gone through to get to this point, to allow us to be here today and to play football and all the things in between.
Well, when you look at, we went through the 47 months, right, that these cadets have until graduation, and you see they go through basic training, they go through cadet recognition where they're, recognized no longer as a plebe or a freshman, or, if you're at the other school, a dually or whatever, and you're now a part of the cadet wing. And so you have that, right? And then you have all the academics. It's Ivy League, education wise. But then when we talk about these guys at football, right? I know from a little bit, I know the deal here. There's that academic window where you have after class where most of the cadets are going to do their intramurals. They're going to do, something athletic. They're going to do the physical fitness test. They're running, they're doing their push-ups and all that stuff. And these guys are going to football practice.
Yeah.
We can tell you from our experience, right? That's the worst part of the day. We got to go to practice.
How many periods today?
Yeah. How many periods of inside? Is it full pads? Is it, is it shells? Is it helmets only? Whatever. Is it shorts? These guys, their day is so structured and so hard that it's like, oh, thank God, football practice.
Yeah.
And that's where you get such an appreciation for what they do. And then you do it for 4 years. Most of them knowing, they're not getting the NIL. Most of them knowing they're not going to play in the NFL. Most of them knowing that they're going to go do another job after this where they're potentially putting their life on the line for idiots like us to be able to come up here and stand in front of the river and do a podcast.
Yeah, like I said, it's very humbling, and just appreciate anybody who's ever served in any type of capacity, and just coming here and getting to see West Point and all the things they've had. And we're going to do some more walking around here in a little bit. Just gives you a great appreciation for the people that have served and what this country's
Yeah.
gone through to get to this point.
Well, and I want to just add one more thing, because I know this is a topic, especially around the holidays. You get around different generations, right? And everybody's all worried about our country and this and that. And I look, I understand that, right? Well, you get around a place like this and you get to be around cadets, but honestly, especially the guys that play ball at a place like this. And you kind of appreciate, okay, we're in good hands still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are the guys that are going to be doing the real work, you know? And so it gives you an appreciation. And I, honestly honored to be here. Like you said, humbling, educational. I can't get over the river.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Do you know that there's 200 species of fish in this river, including the giant sturgeon? You ever seen one of those?
No, I haven't. Can't say
You
I
watch that
have.
show River Monsters?
Great show.
That's what he's catching all the time when he thinks it's some
Really?
prehistoric beast, and it's a damn giant sturgeon. And there's got to be one. I
Yeah.
mean,
And we're here, Sprouse, at Trophy Point.
Yep.
They have all the cannons and some of the artillery that, from the story goes, that they've gotten in different battles and war, and
Yeah.
they've put them on display here. So it's a beautiful area. I mean, literally on the banks
of the Hudson.
It's incredible.
We talked about it. When we booked this trip, we thought, how can we do a show as close to the Hudson River as possible? And I don't know. I mean, possibly on the top of one of these hills or mountains over here, but I don't think there's a better view. Maybe somebody in the chat could let us know. Like,
Right.
I don't think there's a better view in this area.
No, there's not. And shout out, our friend and good friend now, SSN Army,
Yeah.
who said do it from Trophy Point. So we looked it up and we're able to get out here and found some power.
Yep.
Now we're
Found
rocking
some
and
found
rolling.
some people in charge, got the
Sure
clearance
did.
to do it, told them we'd be out of there here
Like,
shortly.
the last thing I want to do is get pinched in a military.
No, I will say this, Jeff, is we've had to go through and get the visitor pass. And by the way, it's a complete side note, the Army Athletics merch store here,
Top
it's the
one.
best one we've been to.
Absolutely.
Incredible. They got everything.
And they got like the player coach issued gear.
The good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They got the really good stuff. But then, you get the visitor pass, you got to go through the gate, go through the security stuff. So that is just cool, It's not
Very
like a
cool.
regular game. We're probably not going to have some crazy tailgate scene, but the pageantry, the history, we're going to get the cadets marching on. We're probably going to get some kind of a good flyover, Blackhawks or something like that. It's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. Now it's gonna be cold when that sun goes down.
Yes, it is.
That is gonna be the concern that I have here. Now this is what I got. So I didn't
I'm okay right now.
I didn't get one of the balaclavas like was recommended. I just stuck with a beanie.
I don't know if this is a balaclava, but I got one.
Yeah, I can kind of, tuck into the turtleneck a little bit. Got the hand warmers. I do have that in the car. We're going to save till
Huge.
tonight. But you were going to make it quick because these guys did offer us, the opportunity to have clearance here. It is cold. We got trying to see everything we can see. We're going to talk ball. We're going to talk ball. So we got 5 group of 5 conference championships this weekend. You got 9 total games in college football this weekend. There's 18 teams, okay, that have a football game today and tomorrow. So every week after every game, you get all these fans. They want to fire their coach, this and that. And some of them are playing today and playing tomorrow. It's like, look, there's 130-something FBS teams in this country. 18 of you are playing today. And, out of those 18 even, 10 of them still have a shot at making their way into the playoffs somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few games, 3 games today here on Friday. 2 group of 5 games tomorrow. Tomorrow you got the MAC and you got the Sun Belt. Let's talk MACtion first.
do it.
Detroit, you got Ohio. Tim Albin, coach of the year in the MAC. Chuck Martin just came off an incredible, spiel about NIL and culture and recruiting and all of that stuff. What do you think?
I mean, it's no wonder why Miami has been a dominant force in the MAC for a while now since Chuck Martin's been there. The guy just gets it. He's talking about building relationships with his players early on when they recruit them. He's like, this place isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
This is not a place. If you want to come and make a bunch of NIL and all these other things that really only the top 3% probably of college football players make, it's probably not for you. But if you want to come and get a great education, be a place where somebody cares about you and develops you as a football player and as a man, come on and let's do it.
Yeah.
And that defense, we talked about them, preseason. Throughout the season, they started a little slow, but they've really came on over the last couple of weeks. Brett Gabbert's played a lot better. I think it's going to be a defensive game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know what the under is. I definitely look at that at betting wise. But let me tell you, Ohio's got a damn good quarterback.
Yes,
Parker
they do. Athletic guy.
He has been hot, throwing the ball and running the ball. And I love what Albin's done with him, getting him on the edge, changing the launching point of the football, not letting those defensive ends just have the same spot every time. They do play action. They'll get him on the edge. They'll do quarterback runs. And then he might drop back to pass. Nothing's there. He's athletic enough to get out. So it's going to be a great chess match between Ohio's offense, Miami's defense.
Yeah.
I think that's really the story. Can the Red Hawks stop Parker Navarro, keep him contained, make him beat you within the pocket? If they can do that, I think Miami's got a shot.
Well, I think you're right. That's the matchup, right? Miami's got these backers, Ty Wise, Matt Salopek, and then Ohio's got this quarterback. Look for that, right? Salopek and Wise, they're kind of the QBs of the defensive side of the ball, right? They're going to be, are they going to put a spy on him, right? Because that's the matchup to watch. How do they attempt to contain him, and then what do they sacrifice in the passing game by doing that? So that's the matchup to watch. I like this Miami team. Look, we all had them preseason, or at least as the favorite, right? And then they started, they lost a touchdown game to Northwestern. They lost a close game to Cincinnati. They lost to Notre Dame, who might be the best team in the country after all of this.
Looks like it.
And then they've been winning ever since then. And then on offense for them, right? Brett Gabbert was the guy going into the season as the quarterback. And again, he started slow. He was turning it over a little bit. And then they start figuring out, we can give the ball to this Mosey fella. We can protect the ball a little bit. We can stop trying to force the issue. We know we've got a championship defense, and they've been rolling. And I think they're gonna keep the train going. I think we're gonna see the repeat champion.
It'd be the first time in the MAC in a long time. I'm going to go the other direction. I think Parker Navarro's been hot. I don't think they're going to be able to contain him because when you dedicate a spot for the quarterback, right, that takes an extra guy really out of coverage. You're so worried about him. He plays in that 5 to 3 yard range. If you're a linebacker, you don't have an extra guy in coverage. You play more man. I think Navarro's athletic enough to get outside and make some plays. I think Tim Albin gets the championship and brings it home for the Bobcats.
I like it. You remember, wasn't it a year ago we were talking about his seat getting a little warm?
We did say that. And shout out to Alex Shear.
Yes, he did.
Predicted it before the season.
He did. He liked the Bobcats. And, and again, we talk all day. I think, starting next week and into the offseason, we're going to talk a lot about the new landscape of college football, about NIL and signing day, right? It's signing day, and all these coaches had great quotes. Chuck Martin did. Jeff Traylor down at UTSA talking about these agents, right?
Slimy.
And it's we're going to get to the root of this thing. We're going to do some investigative journalism and figure out kind of what's causing all these kids to, commit somewhere based on a verbal from an agent that has no affiliation to the school, and then they're getting screwed. And I think we can do a good job. I think everybody can do a better job of educating the kids and the families, right? I mean, I know me, right? When I went through the recruiting cycle, I was at a newer high school. My parents had never, my parents didn't play college sports. My brother, so it was all new, right? Yeah. So when a coach is telling you, back then, oh yeah, you play right away, you got all this stuff. Now you realize that's a bunch of BS. Well, now it's the same thing, except for it's maybe a coach, it's maybe an agent saying, oh yeah, we got NIL for you. So they've been telling kids what they want to hear to get them to commit. But I think we can do a better job now that we've kind of seen some of this stuff of educating the families. Because look, the parents are the ones. The kids are going to hear money and playing time, and they want to go.
Yeah,
it's up to the parent to do their due diligence, to look at it rational, take the emotion out of it, and help guide.
It's tough, you get these agents who are some taking 10, 15, 20%.
It's unbelievable.
Of the deal, of the NIL deal, when they really don't have anything to do with it. They don't know what they're talking about. They may have a conversation with a coach. They get these values off of these websites who we know how accurate the recruiting websites have been over the years. Not very. And now they're valuing NIL dollars on players.
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's a joke.
Yeah.
So, we saw the Sluka situation, earlier in the season. That's happening all over the place. Agents are telling kids, hey, get in the portal. I think I can get you $100,000 without even having conversations. But what they need is the player to get in the portal so they can have these conversations and get offers. So it's like, there needs to be some regulations on
Yeah.
it, and hopefully some stuff comes out. But
Yeah, and it's all based on, like you said, it's all based on speculation. It's just like the Pac-12 needs all these Mountain West schools to come over because they're telling them, well, yeah, we might have this huge TV deal if you come over.
yeah,
And so you're taking a gamble. You are.
yes, you are.
But anyway, let's talk Sun Belt tomorrow. To me, that's a heavyweight bout. Now.
Yes, it is.
No, Louisiana's just been steady. There's nothing flashy about Louisiana, and there hasn't been, even in the Napier years, right? It was just really good up front, physical, protect the ball, play defense, right? Any team in the country, if you do that, you're going to be all right. Marshall, they got some names, right? They got Mike Green, one of the best pass rushers in the country.
No doubt.
And then, Louisiana's got to go back to Chandler Fields. This is not like this is a guy that's not played a ton. This guy played a bunch last year. He's already played a couple weeks this year. So it's the steady Louisiana, and then Marshall's got all of the off-field stuff. It seems like it's a done deal, Huff to Southern Miss, but he hadn't said anything. Marshall hadn't said anything. Southern Miss hadn't said anything.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be interesting to see. I think the way they come out tomorrow is going to be telling. It's going to tell a lot about, are the Huff rumors true? Even if they're not true, how has that affected the team?
Yep.
And then Louisiana, I think this game is one in the trenches. Can Louisiana's offensive line and that run game, that three-headed monster, move the football on this great Marshall front, this front five? Can they do it? We'll see what happens. I think Louisiana can. I think they proved it all years. Chandler Fields has experience. He's definitely not as good as Wooldridge is, but they don't need him to be a world leader.
Yep.
They just need him to play clean football, be efficient, play point guard, get the ball to his guys, let the defense take care of the rest. But they got a great quarterback on the other side too, Braxton.
yeah, well, in both teams, Marshall and Louisiana, top 20 in the country turnover margin. So, and even when Fields came in, he's protected the ball well. I think he's at 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception since he's kind of taken that spot. Marshall, same thing. Marshall, top 25 in sacks. Louisiana, top 25 in sacks allowed. So you got all these matchups, and that to me, like you said, it's in the trenches, but I think it's more so in the trenches in that pass game. If you're going to turn Louisiana over, it's going to be because they put pressure on Chandler Fields, and if he makes, look, in these games, all these games are going to be so close. It's going to be one play here, one play there. So if he makes one mistake based on one, blindside sack fumble or gets pressure up the middle and takes a risk, that's going to be what decides this game.
Yeah, and you look at Louisiana's run game, and that's really how you're going to beat them if you're Marshall. Contain that run game. I don't know if you can completely stop it, but get them in third and medium, third and long, where Fields has to make a play with his arm.
Yep.
Then you can pin your ears back if you're, that defensive line. Go hunt, throw off his timing. Maybe you get an interception, tip ball, whatever. But it's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, well, I'm going Marshall, and I didn't pick them preseason, but I was starting to lean that way about midseason, early in the season, and I'm going to stick with him. Shout out to my guy Ralph Street, the D-line coach at Marshall. That D-line is very good.
Yes, sir.
Also want to see if they can get A.J. Turner going a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. But give me Marshall. I think it's kind of this weird culmination of great season. Now let's break it all up and go down to Hattiesburg. That's what I think's happening.
Well, Lord Terry, I'm going to go with my boy Terry Johnson. I think the Racing Cajuns get it done. They're at home. Please, City of Lafayette, show up. I mean, you got a championship game in your city, and damn, the wind almost just blew me over right there.
I'll catch you if you go down.
I think Dez has done a great job. It hasn't been easy tread the last couple of years with him, but he's done a great job building that culture, keeping it together. I think the Racing Cajuns are your Sun Belt champs.
They've been the top dog all year.
They have.
So we'll see. You're right, though, man. Lafayette. Look, LSU's had a bad season. Tulane, they had a chance to host, and they're not hosting. You're the only show in state, right?
Right.
If you're the governor, you better be making announcements all day long. You should have been doing it for a week now. I just want to see Lafayette. The stadium's under construction, so it's less capacity. You better fill that damn thing,
Fill it
man.
out.
It's going to be the best tailgate scene of the whole weekend, though. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Boudin, a beat of beer.
Well, they've been doing, Jeff. They've been saving.
I know.
They deep fry their turkey last week, and they save it to make the roux. Yeah, it's really good stuff. But hey, so let's talk Conference USA tonight. Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky, and Jacksonville, Alabama. Rich Rod. Here's another team, right? You look at all these. You look at everybody. You look at Tulane, lost early, got hot late. Jacksonville State, lost early, red hot late. Miami of Ohio, same thing. It's like it's all these things, and it's funny when you get into conference play, you know your opponents, you kind of figure out your identity, and they start rolling. Jacksonville State, the story, last I checked, Huff is game time decision. To me, that's the only question.
Yeah.
If he's 80% or above and he plays, give me Jacksonville State. If he doesn't play or he's not able to run like he does, they got no chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Huff's the key, especially to Jacksonville State. When he took over early in the season for Smothers, I mean, it was 9 day. I mean, they're essentially a triple option shotgun team. They want to run the ball. They'll throw it when they need to, and they can. And Huff's done a pretty good job of that because you're going to get man coverage on the back end. But he's the key. If he's ready to go, and I think he will be. It's a championship game.
Yeah, you got to
lay it out on the line.
You
got to play. I think it's going to be a very tight game. On the other side, Veltkamp, when he took over for Finley, when he hurt his leg early in the season, he was spinning it.
Yep.
Now, the last couple of weeks, he's had some interceptions. He's turned it over. Hadn't played as clean. He is going to need to make big-time throws, but how they're going to get that offense going is the run game.
Yeah.
They have really made an emphasis to run the ball the last couple of weeks, and it's paid dividends. But, man, if Huff is playing, I think Rich Rod and the Gamecocks win it. Give me Jacksonville State.
How many winning coaches will no longer be at their school after this weekend?
I think a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Rich Rod could winning coaches and their quarterback might be elsewhere after the season. You look at Huff.
Well, he's another one
Rich
that's
Rod.
been linked. How does that affect?
Right. Well, both
the
of them and
locker
Tyson
room?
Helton too
That's true.
early. Now they lost late, which kind of put a damper on that message, but he was the favorite for the ECU job for a minute.
Yeah.
So I hate it. We talk about this too. It's unfair to the players. It is. It's another distraction. You're already asking them. It used to be, hey man, this is a tough task. You got to balance class and football. Then they throw the transfer portal. You got to balance that. Now you got an agent in your ear. You got your coaches you're trying to do film. You got exams. You got NIL. You got portal. You throw that on them. Now let's drop another thing on you. Hey, your coach is probably leaving too. So now in the back of their mind, it's like, this is my last game here. My coach going here. Is he going to ask me to go with him? If I get in the portal, will he take me? If I get in the portal, will he not take me? If I stay, will the new coach come in and tell me to get in the portal because they haven't got a spot? I mean,
it's crazy.
It's brutal. It's brutal, which is funny because from a mental capacity, it's almost like as difficult as it is a place like this, at least you don't have to navigate. At least it's like, hey, I'm here. And I'm going to be here. And I can't go anywhere. Now you can't leave. So
you can't leave.
So, yeah, I'm with you, though. I'm taking Jacksonville State. I think Huff's going to go. I think he's going to play well. Him and Trey Stewart are going to be tough. Western Kentucky defensively is hit or miss. They've been all year. So give me the Gamecocks to win and Jack at home too. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, also Jacksonville, Alabama, right? Nobody else playing. They're not playing in Tuscaloosa. They're not playing in Birmingham. They're not playing in Auburn.
Show up.
Come on, man.
Show up, be loud.
Show up, be loud. Get you a conference championship, Well, let's talk this one. American Conference Championship. Tulane coming up here to West Point to Army. This is going to be a test of will, I think. I think this is going to be a test of that Army offensive line going at the knees of this Tulane front over and over and over and over again. I mean, Jeff, touch the ground right now. Do it now and then stand up. Then maybe you get an ice chip.
Stiff,
maybe an ice chip gets down your pants, right? Now you're uncomfortable out there. I mean, and just keep doing it. That's the question mark. Will Tulane's front keep coming back? I think they will. Then on the other side of the ball, right? We saw the drop balls and the fumbles hurt Tulane last week. That in this cold weather, I couldn't imagine catching a football right now.
Look, footballs in this type of cold are hard as rocks. Receivers definitely don't like the cold, at least the ones that I played with back in the day. They're a little bit of divas. They tend to be.
Oh, are they?
And I don't know. This game is going to be a great game. I'm so excited for it. You mentioned the battle in the trenches. Kickoff temperature is going to be 27 degrees. It's going to drop down probably by the end of the game, close to 22, 21 degrees. So, I mean, we've seen the wind already today. That ain't dying down. It's going to be a factor. Mensah's been a great freshman quarterback all year. Crazy to think that he wasn't. I hope he was close in the freshman of the year or newcomer of the year award in the American. But how effective is he going to be today with this wind, with the footballs being as hard as they are? They're slick. It's going to be tough for them. But they got Mekhi Hughes. They got a great offensive line. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. What worries me a little bit was Tulane's defense a week ago against Memphis gave up close to 500 yards.
Yep.
And a lot of it was on the ground. That was
Mario
uncharacteristic.
Anderson chewed him up.
Uncharacteristic for a Tulane defense. But I think they got the message. I think Summerall, if there's anybody that can fix a problem like that, it's him. You got Pat Jenkins, Aiden Huntington. That defensive line is one of the biggest, physical, best defensive lines in the group of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be great.
And I go back to when Tulane played Navy, and they completely shut down Navy. Navy couldn't do anything. You look at what they've got to do is, right, when their defensive linemen, number one, the D-line's got to do their best to stay on their feet, right? I tell you, that was the wake-up call for me in college football. You know that? I tried to cut somebody, and there was a Samoan defensive end that buried my face, and it was turf. And it had the little black beads all over my face when I got up. And I was like, it's going to be a long night, boys. We're in trouble here. That was a juke. That was Snow College. That's who that was, out of Utah. So you can imagine what kind of guys were on that defensive line. But that's what they got to do.
Yeah.
The D-line's got to do that. And, again, they got to do it over and over again. And then when they do it, right, that's when your guys like Grubbs have to fit. And they have to get on their assignment. And they can't miss tackles. They missed a lot against Memphis. They can't do it today.
Yeah, and of course, we can't finish this conversation without talking about Bryson Daly, right? I mean, Captain America, the guy has been incredible all year long. Got a little bit banged up before that Notre Dame game. I wonder how much that was a factor for him. Looked good last week against UTSA. I think he's going to be ready to go. I can't wait to see him live and in person.
Yeah, me too. Well, and, maybe not for him and his family, but I can't wait to see what assignment he gets after football. Right? I mean, that's the guy you want leading some special forces operation.
No question.
You know what I mean? Hey, let's go get the next guy, right? Yeah. Hey, Bryson Daly, remember when you ran the ball 50 times against Tulane? Let's go do that, So that, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see, me, I like the eye test. I like the gluten calf test. The Army guys are probably going to be a little undersized, but they're going to be stout now. They're going to be ready to roll. I don't know. You're going Tulane, Jeff?
I think Mekhi Hughes gets established early. They make enough plays on the outside with those receivers. I think they have a better game than a week ago with all those drops. Roll wave. American champs.
I have no idea here, Jeff.
I also picked Tulane at the beginning of the season.
You did, and I picked
so
Memphis to beat Tulane, which I was just a week early on that prediction. I'm going to go Army here, man. I think just a letdown from Tulane. They went from, we win this game, we're in the playoff probably.
A little bit of rat poison snuck in.
To now, what's the best we got? Pop-Tart Bowl, Duke's Mayo Bowl. Just the level of what there was to play for. I do like how both Mekhi Hughes and John Summerall kind of came out this week and tried to squash the transfer portal and coach leaving rumors. How real that was, remains to be seen. And what other jobs come open remains to be seen. Man, I'm going to go Army, dude. I don't trust these Tulane receivers. And you remember now, the Tulane, Mario Williams is the guy. Remember now, he's the USC receiver that muffed the punt against Tulane that led to the safety and the Tulane comeback in the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago. So he struggled with drops. And it wasn't just him last week. It was all of them. It
was everybody. I think they had six or seven big drops. And a couple of them would have been touchdowns. And then
the 2 fumbles.
Inside the red zone.
Well, and when you look at a game like this, right, again, we talk about the defense. How long are they going to keep getting back up and doing it? Well, you look at the offense, too. It's going to be cold. You know how it is. We've been on fields like that where game's out of hand in our favor or the other favor, and all you want to do is get off. All you want to do is go to halftime. All you want to do is get the game over with, go take a warm shower, and get on the bus. That's all. I mean, and so you mentioned receivers being divas, buddy. I mean, that's I don't know. I'm going to take Army. I think pretty close. I think Tulane's defense is going to play well. I'm worried about their offense, but I'm going to take Army. I'm going to take the Knights.
I like it. Get on campus, sway your decision a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a emotional guy. Yeah, I'm a little peer pressure here and there. I'll make the change. Now, Jeff, who's making the playoff?
I mean, we just got to.
First of all, let me ask you this question. Any chance, not what you think should happen, what will happen, any chance UNLV wins and they both get in?
Zero.
Even though the Ward Emanuel came out and said we're not going to punish teams if they lose in a conference championship.
Well, what he meant to say was
we're not going to punish big brands.
Exactly.
And
that's what he meant to say.
We're not going to punish Texas.
I think he left that part out. Because if you look at it, UNLV is one of the best group of 5 teams in the country, one of the best teams in the entire country regardless. And, they beat Kansas.
Yep.
They lose a close one in overtime to Syracuse, who just beat Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And Kansas beat BYU, Iowa State, Colorado.
That's crazy.
Like you have, and then the Big 12 commissioners coming out and saying that the group of 5 doesn't deserve a bye or whatever they said was ridiculous.
That's what I was going to say. But sorry to interrupt you. He comes out here and says some idiotic comment like that, and then the minute somebody says, "What do you mean UNLV's 2-0 against the Big 12?" They say, "Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, Kansas. Kansas is the reason the Big 12 is in this situation because they just beat your top 3 teams back to back weeks, Jeff. 3 weeks in a row.
So it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just a 1 week thing.
Yeah, this wasn't some lucky thing, and UNLV went and beat them in Kansas. It is so baffling. All these people, they talk. All these people sit up there, strength of schedule this, our conference that. And the minute you say that, well, yeah, we beat your conference team. Well, that one's bad. Oh, is it? So how good's your conference then if the team that's beating all your good teams is bad? That's my question. What's that guy's name? Yormack or something like that?
I don't know. Yormack Von Eisen? No, I have no idea. But the point I was making was...
Him and Benedict Arnold both. I'd like to toss in the Hudson.
Right there. But the point I was making was, so, in Boise's only loss was Oregon on a late field goal. UNLV's loss in conference was Boise State, very close
4 or 5 point game.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, if UNLV ends up beating Boise, I think Boise absolutely deserves to get in still. But they're not going to do that.
No, they won't do that.
There's no chance.
Which is why they've kept them hovering at that 10-11 spot.
Let's just say that happens. They'll probably knock Boise out. Let's say Clemson beats SMU. Does SMU still get in? I think they would still keep SMU in.
See, I disagree a little bit with you because if Clemson beats SMU and they keep SMU in, you know who it is they got to knock out.
Bama.
This is what. Can I do let's do a role play here, Jeff. I'm walking into the committee meeting, right? Put down my papers. I put down my notes. All right, guys. Bama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Penn State. How do we get them all in? That's what I think they say. 100%. They say, okay, all right, yeah, Ohio State, we get those guys in easy. They're top 6, 7. Bama, what criteria can we get up here and spew that would make sense to put them in? And they make up the criteria. They got the teams. They got the teams ahead of time.
Yeah,
it's not, they don't look at some blank resume, some blind, there's no way they do.
No.
But I do think, I disagree. I think if Clemson beats SMU, they're going to try to justify knocking them out and keeping Alabama in. It'd be interesting.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Because I don't think SMU has the brand yet that they think they do.
No.
None of these teams do. That's what's the funniest part about this all is, right? Lane Kiffin and the SEC guys get up there and say it's ridiculous that a Big 12 team is going to get in over the SEC or whatever. But then the Big 12 gets up there. Oh, no, that's not true. All conferences, not the Mountain West, though. We're better than they are. Mm-mm. These people are so hypocritical. It's crazy. And again, you could argue that the Big 12 is better than the Mountain West, top to bottom. That's fine. What's that got to do with Boise State being better than Arizona State or not? It's got nothing to do with what conference they play in. Boise State was the top 3 team in the country playing in the damn WAC. I mean, it's just, what are we doing?
They don't care to take the time to look at on the field. And let's call it what it is. The CFP it's a business, the committee, they want to make the most money. What brands have the most eyes when we do this playoff thing? Because more eyes, more television views, it's more money. That's what it boils down to. They've made it clear. Now let's get whichever rep gets in and let's go make some noise. And it starts, really, it's down to Boise
and UNLV.
And UNLV.
Yep. All right. You look at that first game. UNLV, bunch of big plays. Hodge Malik running the ball a little bit. Deep balls down the field. Boise State defensive backfield is a little bit suspect at times. Now, when they got down in the red zone, though, they couldn't punch it in. Boise State, Genty got banged up in that game. That offensive line has been banged up all year. Now they're starting to get healthy, right? So that's what I've been saying for a couple weeks. Can Boise just survive
Can they
and get the bye week and get their 5 offensive linemen back, get that stupid elbow brace off Genty? It was off him last week. If he's healthy, I mean, you can just watch. You watch his big runs against Georgia Southern, against Oregon, and then post UNLV game, even his big runs. Looks a little slower, not breaking the tackles as much, not as laterally quick.
Getting up off the ground a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you can tell too.
Yeah. Now I think, the weather's going to play a factor here today in West Point. Buddy, it ain't going to be any easier there.
That's to me, that's what I want to see. How does UNLV handle the cold? They play in the dome half the year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that go offense, can it go in 30-degree weather?
Yep.
I don't know. Everything hurts more. When you get hit, everything hurts more.
Yep.
It's a different animal if you're not used to playing in it. Now, I think UNLV show up. I think Woodard's going to be ready to go. I think it's his personal mission to take on Ashton Genty. He wants to slow him down. The defense wants to slow him down. And it's going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal game. What it comes down to me is I think the weather and Ashton Genty running the ball 34, 35 times a game. Can he hold up one more time and get a Mountain West championship game?
I agree with you. And I think for UNLV, that offense, it's a dome offense, right? You remind me of the Rams from back in the day. You know what I mean?
On turf.
So you're playing in a dome. They want to go quick. They want to take shots down the field. A lot of that's going to be tough. And what you don't want to see if you're UNLV is, those quick 3-and-outs, and then Boise's going to get the ball and just hand it off and run almost like a service academy game, right? You're going to look at stuff like that.
Shorten the game.
Yeah.
Control time of possession. Keep that offense on the sideline. That's how you beat UNLV.
Yeah.
Force them into situations they don't want to be in. But UNLV has Ricky White.
Oh,
Jacob DeJesus.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas. I mean, they have all the athletes they could possibly want on offense. So it's not going to be just an easy track for Boise.
No. And UNLV defensively, this is the best defense on Boise's schedule. They're the only team to keep Genty limited.
Better than Oregon did.
Better than Oregon did. They got those defensive backs where they missed in the first game against Boise too. Is they had a couple plays that should have been interceptions and ended up being completions for Boise State. Those go the other way. Look out. I've been conflicted on this. So you're taking the Broncos here. Is that what you're doing?
That's not what I said.
Oh, really? I'm going to take the Broncos. This is a preseason pick for me. Picked Boise State.
You did.
I think I picked him over UNLV, actually. I can't remember. I'll have to go look at that. But I think, man, this is going to be – all these games are going to be, but this one especially, because both teams, this is 1v2. I mean, this is win and you're in.
That's it.
It's a playoff game. It's going to be cold. They've been building for this. For UNLV, too, it's like you kind of lost it, and then you got it handed back to you, another shot at this thing with Colorado State losing. Man, it's going to be electric. I think Boise's starting to get healthy at the right time. Look, Madsen, just be careful. Just
don't turn
complete the easy ones.
That's it.
Don't be afraid to use your feet, too. Look out for that when that happens. But I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to take Genty, and we're going to see Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl or something after a bye week.
I like it. You know, I've been on UNLV all year. Barry Odom's our guy. He's been on our show a couple times.
Yep.
I think they're going to be ready to go. I think they're going to be ready for the challenge. It's hard to beat the same team, a good team, twice in 1 year. That's what Boise's trying to do. You know, you look at Ricky White on the outside. You look at DeJesus. You know, look out for Ricky White on punt block. If he's able to get a punt block, I mean, he's done it a handful of times this year, which is like the craziest stat for a receiver. He's long, he's fast, he can get to the punter.
Crazy stat for the number one receiver,
You know
the
what I
best
mean?
player on your team.
Well, they're special teams for a reason. You got to have the best special guys on those units, right? Look for a big game, Haj Malik. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can throw it. They got the weapons, but I think his legs are going to be the test today. When things break down, he's able to get outside. They do a lot of triple option stuff. He'll keep it. I think the Rebels get it, and they get the Mountain West Championship, and they go on and represent as the 12 seed in the college football playoff.
And they go up to Notre Dame
They do.
or Penn State or Ohio State.
And keep it go
Texas,
offense
maybe.
going.
Texas loses to Georgia. Texas might be that 5. I like it. Then how long do we get to see UNLV's coaching staff in place? That's it. That's the other question mark there.
Surely they're going to stay through for at least.
Yeah, well, they got to at least coach through it.
Right.
But even if they take another job. But anyway, I'm taking the Broncos. You're taking UNLV. So we got a couple voicemails, right? How many we got, Jeff?
I think we got 4. Let me get down here and figure this out.
I'll tell you what. It's starting to get a little colder.
Yes,
We've been standing in the same spot for a little bit. We're going to get this show done. We're going to go grab some food. Man, West Point, it's a beautiful place. This is a beautiful, beautiful place. Excited. We haven't even seen the stadium yet. We haven't even seen any of the football facilities, just kind of seen some of the campus, some of the historic stuff. But let's get to those voicemails. And, guys, we really want to hear them after this weekend. Start getting ready. We're all going to be on the same team after this weekend as we pull for either Boise State or UNLV. Maybe we do a group of 5 trip to whatever game. Maybe we get a bunch of people to go down there and tailgate. But call the hotline at 615-900-4286. See what we got, Jeff.
This is Joe. Great show. Love listening to you guys. I'd like to hear you guys discuss the difference in conference games between the Big 10, the Big 12, SEC, and ACC. The Big 10 and the Big 12 play 9 conference games, which increases the difficulty of going undefeated. I think this has been sort of an advantage that the SEC has used for a long time. And so I'd like to hear you guys talk about it, throw that around, and see if you think that there should be some sort of standardization with regard to playing conference games. Like all the conferences should play, especially the Power 4, 9 conference games. Nick Saban was in favor of it. A few years ago, they didn't listen to him. But anyway, that'd be interesting to hear you guys talk about that. Thanks. Great show. Keep it up. Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you as well, Joe. Yeah, I mean, it's funny we were talking about it in the car a little bit on the way over here, Jeff. You know, I don't think anybody's denying that the SEC has good teams, right? But they get up there and they just spew this. They get up there on their high horse about their hard conference schedule. But you look, right, if Alabama is not playing Mercer in week 13, they might be 9-4 or 8-4. I'm sorry. You know, so if Ole Miss, I don't know. I think he's right. I think they all should play the same. I think especially as you move to these 14, 15, 16 team conferences, I think you got to have another conference game.
No, I think everybody should play the same amount of conference games. What it does is it allows, you know, half the conference would have an additional loss, and they don't because of that fact. Mm-hmm. So I think it's ridiculous. It's allowed the SEC to stack more bowl games, more bowl winning teams. It helps with the algorithm of preseason rankings. It gets them more money. Like all the things. They've done this for a specific reason, and I guess credit to them. I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't do the same to try and bolster up my conference, but play 9 conference games like everybody else. Be the same as everybody else. And their argument is, oh, it's so much harder to play in the SEC. Well, that's your choice to be in the SEC and you make all that TV money.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a different conference and have an easier shot at the playoff, then by all means, switch over.
You want to know what I find funny, Jeff? I hate to pick on Alabama because especially when Saban was there, I actually have like a ton of respect, obviously, and I kind of would have a soft spot because I respected how great they were. I respected how long they were good.
Greatest coach of all time.
But what I think is funny, especially this year, is you have on one hand, they lose a game and we got to get DeBoer out of here. This guy's the worst coach. This is the worst Alabama team, blah, blah, blah. But then on the other hand, we absolutely are one of the best teams in the country. We absolutely should be in the playoff. Well, are you one of the best tems in the country, or does your coach suck and you want to fire him? Because last time I checked, we don't fire national championship winning coaches. So I just don't know. Again, pick one. And
they don't know either.
No, they don't. They listen to what Feinbaum tells them.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, I mean, we'll talk a lot more about that too in the off season about some of this stuff. But appreciate the call, Joe.
Yeah, let's get to our next one.
Wyoming Ben, you guys were cracking me up trying to figure out what you were gonna wear to West Point this weekend. So I figured I'd give you guys a couple tips from someone who's been to at least a dozen games below freezing, and I think probably 2 that were below 10 degrees. So listen up. The first thing you need to do is make sure you don't skimp on your boots or gloves. You keep your hands and your feet warm, you're going to be all right. You may get a little uncomfortable if it's cold enough, but you will survive. You let the hands or feet get too cold, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to be in for a miserable time. Make sure you got a nice pair of wool socks. The thing to do is make sure you got room in your boots as well, so you can wear a pair of normal socks and then pull them wool socks over top of your normal socks before you shove them in your boots. You keep your feet nice and warm. Gloves, make sure you got a nice pair. I'm telling you, your hands get cold and you can turn into a baby real quick. And last thing I'll say is I know you boys are working, but one Irish coffee does not count as drinking. All right, well, you guys are going to be experts after this game, so we'll need to get you guys out to Laramie next year for the last border war where Wyoming and CSU are in the same conference. I guarantee you it's going to be wild. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go Pokes.
Appreciate it, Ben. That's Ben from Wyoming. Give us some tips. I think we did pretty good. Got the wool socks.
My gloves are not great. They're Nike, but they're not bad. I think I'm good. I got the boots on. I got the wool socks on. One thing I want to address, one Irish coffee. What, am I in elementary school? Come on.
Said technically you're working.
You're
not under the influence while you're working.
That's all right, buddy. I work every day. No. Yeah, we got to find a good Irish. There's a lot of cool like taverns and like, old school looking bars and delis, and what we say, like kind of where we're at, there's a bodega in every gas station. It's pretty cool, man. Everything's older, and so we're gonna go find some places right after this and grab some food and see what we can't get into. But I think we did well.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think we did all right.
I think we did good. Appreciate you, Ben, man. We want to get out to Laramie as well. That's for
doubt.
me, that's going to be a wise trip. My wife wants to go out there and check a game out. So we'll get to our last voicemail.
Hey guys, Zach Green here. Just want to call in with some thoughts about some different things. Number one, I'll address the UNLV Boise thing you were talking about could we still get 2 Group of 5 teams in? And me personally, I don't know, I'm just kind of partial to UNLV this year. I just think that what they're doing is cool, and I kind of like them. I kind of want to force the committee's hand to see what they'll do and get this UNLV win and see if they'll stick with what they said about people can stay where they are, or they're a little bit squishier on that. And it did sound like the director of the committee might be a little squishy on that. So we'll find out, but would be very interesting to see what would happen if UNLV won a close game up in Boise this weekend. But anyway, back to the Liberty stuff, man. Disappointing end of the season there on Friday in Huntsville, Texas. Congratulations to Sam Houston on a good season. Too bad Keeler left. That's a bummer. That's going to hurt for the conference and certainly for Sam Houston. Just a really bad performance on offense, especially in the passing game. I think we were like 10 or 11 for 30-something passes in the game. Really, really bad on that part of the ball. Really gutsy run, though, there at the end for Caden, scoring the touchdown on his legs, on his kind of messed up ankle or whatever that was wrong with his legs. But anyways, excited about this bowl game opportunity, whatever it is. Hope maybe it's against one of these other college teams so we can talk a little bit of smack going into it. Maybe Liberty can get another one of its famous Sun Belt wins. But we'll see. Hopefully we can get to 9 wins. That'll be our first time having 9 wins 2 years in a row in program history, I think. But in other news, Chadwell sounds like he's not going anywhere this year. He told a couple of recruits at least that he's not going to UCF. So I think we're good this year. And we just signed supposedly the best class in school history. I think right now, according to the 247 average, we have the highest average in the group of 5 and independents and the Pac-2, excluding Notre Dame. So that's pretty encouraging. So did lose a few offensive linemen in the portal, did lose Caden in the portal, but I think we're going to be okay. I'll have some more thoughts about that another time. But anyway, just wanted to call in. Thanks, guys. Let's have some fun this weekend. Enjoy West Point. Stay warm.
Appreciate it, Zach.
Yeah. And that's funny, too, with Chadwell. You know, a lot of Liberty fans had a lot of negative things to say during the season with some, penalties and discipline and all that stuff. But then the rumor happens, Chadwell to UCF, and they're like, oh, God, no. You know what I mean? And then he stays, and they're all happy. So, I get it. You got to have fans like that. You got to be – I'm like that to a degree, right? One game, I'm like, oh, my God, we're the best ever. Next game, I think we're terrible. Bahamas Bowl for the Flames. So. Bahamas Bowl or Hawaii?
No, it's not Hawaii.
It's Bahamas.
It's Bahamas.
Bahamas versus Buffalo.
Salter's in the portal. There's some guys that have already hopped in. So it's going to be a crazy bowl season. You're going to get to see a lot of guys, younger guys probably on the roster, get an opportunity. So I always love to see that. And it's starting to get a little chilly.
It is getting a little chilly. We'll wrap it up, Jeff. I know you're cold. You California kids. You all worried about the cold. I do want to – he brought up an interesting thing. Here's an interesting scenario for you here, Jeff, for UNLV. Let's say UNLV wins a close one. Battle, slugfest. Let's say, that's the scenario 1. Do they keep Boise in over Alabama?
Yep.
Scenario number 2, UNLV beats Boise, slugfest. Clemson also beats SMU.
Yeah.
Do you knock out Boise and SMU and keep Bama? Do you knock out one or the other? What if Clemson smokes SMU? And Boise loses close? A lot of things still
interesting to see what they do.
Well, you'll. I think we probably know what they'll do.
I think they'll put both of them out.
I think they will too.
Probably and Boise, if they both happen to lose.
I think they will too, and then they'll come up with the whole favorite on a neutral field business. Even though Alabama's already lost 3 times as a favorite this year, but neither here nor there. Hey, look, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go get some food. Get one last look at the mighty Hudson River, though.
Slide over so they can see the freaking channel.
I don't want to.
I mean, would you just look at it?
Look at it.
It's beautiful.
Unbelievable place. Well, we couldn't be happier to be here. We're excited. We got a long day ahead of us. We got a big game tonight. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us, watching, listening. Make sure you hit the follow button at Group of 5 Guys on all the socials. Make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your best podcasts. Or you can download the Varsity app for free. Listen to the show on there. Hey, God bless the Hudson River. God bless the Army cadets God bless Group of Five. God bless Group of Five guys, and God bless these United States of America, Jeff.